Hi everyone, this is Lisa Cronin from It's Little Things in Card Making, and I'm making a card that's a little bit different. What I'm trying for is kind of like a cross between chalkboard art, farmhouse plaques, and signs of affirmation. You know, we see them all over, and some of them are really cute. So I thought I would try to parlay that into a card. So what I have here is I have some cardstock, both heavyweight. This is Gina K Black Onyx heavyweight cardstock. This is Nina Solar White 110 pound. I'm going to be using these. This is cut at 7 across by 7.5 down. And this is 7 across by 3 3/4 down. What I'm also going to be using, this is going to be a 5x7. It's going to end up being a 5x7 card. And what I'm also going to be using is like some ironwork looking die that I'm now getting the little paper hairs off of. And that's going to go on the top. It's going to be a top folding card, but it's going to go on top. And it's going to make it look like a sign, which I think is nice because some of the signs that I've been looking at or I've seen, they have a hanger piece. My Brooklyn isn't coming out, but my hanger piece. So that's what this is going to be. What I did was I took this die. It's a beautiful die. It's a sign. And I just die cut the top of it and then cut off what I thought I needed. I left a little bit on the bottom so that I can glue it in between my cardstock and probably my card base and my card front. So I'm going to be using that. I'm also going to be using Mama Elephant's strips, quick strips I think it's called. And this is the 3/8 size. So I've already cut it out. And we can do bigger than an A2 card with these if we wanted to make a frame, which is what I'm going to be doing, by partial die cutting. And I'm going to assume most people know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, let me know and I'll show you. After I die cut it and I had all my strips, then I ran it through. This is Crafter's Companion. This is an old Crafter's Companion embossing folder. And I just put my die cut pieces inside, ran it through, and now I have some wood grain on my strips, and it looks great. So, as I said, it's going to end up being a 5x7 card. We're taking into account our scroll work. So now we're going to be starting by stamping. And I have my Misties already. And what I did was, because this is a black, chalkboard art type thing, I've taken one of the strips and I placed it down onto my card front. And then I made like little marks on it all the way around. So I knew where I was going to be stamping. I knew I wasn't going to be stamping where the frame was going to be. So that gave me the exact measurements of where I was going to be stamping. And I already set up my Misties. And my Misties have these stamps, which so old. Inkadinkadoo Angels. Now this one is probably one of my favorite stamp sets. She's beautiful, and we're going to be using her. I'm also going to be using this cluster of stars from Altenew, and this saying here, I believe that friends are quiet angels who lift us to our feet when our wings have trouble remembering how to fly. It's going to be an encouragement card, and you can really put any image and any saying on these. You know, it's whatever you have, whatever you like. This is what I like. And again, I'm going to gush after I finish stamping her. I'm going to be doing some heat embossing. So I'm going to be using pigment ink for that. It's Hero Arts Unicorn White pigment ink. And I'm going to be using it to also stamp, just stamp. So it's going to kind of have some definitions card. So I'm going to start with the stars. And I have my Misties already set up. I'm going to put my card front in my Misty. And it's okay that it comes off the end. And here's my cluster of stars. Now I want to make sure I don't saturate the paper with this ink because this has to dry before I can do any kind of embossing. So I'm just going to lightly tap on some color. I'm not going to overdo it. Close my Misty. Make sure it's in the corner. And I'm going to stamp. Now I don't want this to be too heavy because this is going to be like a background. I don't want it to be too heavy, but I want to be able to see some of those stars. And I kind of think that's good because this is not going to be the main image. This is just going to enhance the main image. So you're not really going to see this part in here, and I'd rather have less than more. So what I'm going to do is take this off here now. I'm going to be closing my Misty. And usually I like to put a sheet of paper in between the stamp and the Misty itself until I get to clean it. Now I'm going to take my other Misty, and this has the angel, and it also has the angel, and it also has the saying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this a little bit. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to pause as I'm drawing this. And hopefully I'll come back to you. Okay, I think I'm back. I think I learned how to do it. I think I'm okay. So I heat set my little stars here. And that's because we're going to be doing some embossing. I'm going to do the embossing with the pigment white. Want to make sure that I get good coverage. And this is a very easy way to tell. It would be a little more difficult if I used Versamark. And being that the pigment ink stays wet a little longer, that will enable me to put my embossing powder on and heat set that. I'm going to go over it one more time. The words, I think the angel is pretty good. So it's just a word, just lightly tapping it on. Sometimes this can get in the way of a good stamped image, so I'm going to move it. Hopefully I did not move the paper. Okay, I think we're good. Alrighty. Now, looking for another scrap piece of paper. I can't find one right now, so I'm going to have to just let it be. Okay. I'm going to bring over my embossing powder. going to use my which I should have done before, my anti-static tool. Let's hope we get a good impression and that it's not too messy. And I'm using Wow Opeg White, Bright White, super fine embossing powder. And it looks pretty good. I'm kind of wiping off some of the excess, like right down here. She is such a pretty stamp. The stamp is about 10 years old, 11 years old, but she's so pretty. Just want to clean up just a little bit. I should have used my anti-static powder tool. Though it is supposed to be a chalkboard like. Okay. I think that's enough cleaning up. Now let's heat set this. She's so pretty and so delicate. Okay. Looks like she's good. I gotta bring her up. I have to show you how delicate this stamp is. Look at the details of that stamp. Look at the scroll work on her dress. So pretty. Hands are so delicate. And here is our sentiment. Lorraine K. Mitchell. That's a quote from her. But you can see the stars in the background faintly. And that's what I wanted, faintly. Wanted something there, but I didn't want it to like really be a part of the design. I just kind of wanted it as a little background noise. And she's just so pretty. Okay, enough gushing. All right, so now we have our kind of warped card front. And we can go one of two ways with this. We could put our frame together now, or we can put our frame together when this is already on the card base. I think we're going to put it together now. So what I'm going to do, just to make it easy and quick, I'm just going to put a few little dots of temporary tape. Like I said, temporary tape. Okay, there we go. Making sure I get those corners. And this is going to help quite a bit when we put our frame together. And again, I'm going to be mitering the corners. And I showed that on my last video, how I do that. So this will just rub off all of this adhesive when I'm done. Okay, so now I'm going to take my strips and I'm going to cut off 4 of them. Now I'm going to start laying them down, and I want them to go over. I want them right on the edge, but I want them to also go over the card front itself. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting, this kind of gives me a better, it helps me to see that edge a little better. And I'm just going to lay it down. Going right to the edge, laying it down on all 4 sides. And the reason why I wanted to kind of go past the card front is because I need this little triangle here, this little corner piece to help me get good cuts. Because if, bear with me, without that, I would kind of be guessing. So now, we're almost ready to cut. And since I've just learned how to pause, I am going to show you my first cut. And then I will pause and do the other cuts. And I'm trying to make the videos a little shorter and not wanting to have you watch paint dry. Okay, I'm going to take my little L ruler here. I think that's what my husband said it was. I'm going to place it firmly in the corner, in each corner. I have a penknife here, and I'm going to go right into the right into this corner here, and I'm going to cut from that corner to this corner. So that will give me, and make sure it stays in place. That will give me the perfect mitered corner, and it will look like a wood frame when I'm done. So I'm going to put my penknife right into that corner, put my ruler up against it, pivot my ruler till I get to the corner, the outer corner, and then I'm just going to start cutting. And you might cut your card front, but that's okay. So now here we have our mitered corner. Cool, right? So now I'm going to kind of hold it down and hold it together, and then I will cut the others. I'll be back. I hope. Okay, so I taped all of the corners that I've cut, and I did that after I finished cutting them so that they would stay in place and all the others would line up well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of pick up one end and okay, gotta put you on hold. Okay, I'm back. You know, dogs and mailmen. So I'm just going to put a line of glue, make sure that I get this corner well, lay down my mitered piece, and then just rub off the temporary tape. I'm going to go to this end, going to pick up that corner, put a little bit of glue, match up my corners, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. A little bit of that temporary glue there. Now I'll lift up this corner. With playing, I found that that temporary glue really does help to keep everything in line and squared. So that was what I found worked well for me. Now I'm just going to match it up. Pick up this end. I'm kind of holding it in place, my thumb, so that it doesn't, you know, get askew. And just one bead of glue should be enough. And now my last corner. And I think that's it. Oh, one more. Just the one end with the one that I started with. Put my corners together. And there you have the frame. A wood-looking frame. Very cool. Now I already scored my card base, and this is going to go onto the card base. But before I do that, I want to add this, and I want to sandwich it in between the base and the front. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring my card front up to the very top of this bar. And if you notice on the ends, they have these like little balusters or whatever. And I don't really want to keep them in, or do I? I'll keep them in. But before I do that, what I want to do so that the top of the card where I'm going to be putting this isn't too bulky, I'm just going to kind of press down this cut on the bottom where I'm going to be gluing. just going to flatten them out a little bit more so it's not so bulky there, and it will sit nicer after it's glued and sandwiched in between the two papers. So I'm going to make sure and if I'm going to keep these in, I want to put that a little flatter too. Noticed a couple of pieces that weren't poked out. So I'm going to take my handy dandy toothpick okay. Now I'm going to glue this to the card front. And I'm only going to put glue on the bottom part. And this should be enough to hold it in place. And we have to remember to center it as best we can. Move it over a tiny bit. That looks centered to me. Now I'm going to glue this card front to the base, making sure I get the very top. I want to be able to glue that scroll piece in. And this should lay right on top of my base. And there it is. A very sweet card. Card of encouragement. I think it's so pretty. What do you think? Do you like? Gotta let me know. I'm going to be doing, I mean, it's kind of simple other than maybe the frame. And we can always distress the frame a little bit. But I like it kind of simple like this. If you are a little concerned about putting it into an envelope and this not being, you know, as sturdy, you can always put a piece of card, maybe an extra piece of card in the envelope, and that will help keep it straight and secure so it doesn't warp or fold during mailing. So that would be a suggestion. But very pretty. And I think whoever gets this card would really appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to thank you very much for spending your time with me. I hope everyone is well and stays well. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. I like to know that you like them. Any comments, please put them in the comments section. I'll answer any questions you may have. And share if you think somebody else would like to see how this is done. Again, this is very similar to Chalkboard Art, and it kind of gives that feeling as well. Okay, again, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for all of your support. I really do appreciate it. Stay well, and remember, it's the little things in card making. Bye now.